course, ladies and gentlemen, the floor will be yours a little bit later, but we'd like to start with some comments from the three gents here on the stage. Frank, I'll come to you first, if I may. All these years, Frank, after Bruno McCall here at Wembley Stadium for the WBC World Heavyweight title, here we go again. This time an all-British World Heavyweight title showdown on St George's Day for good measure, as Tyson Fury returns to action in the United Kingdom. So, to start at the top, Frank, how have you put this together?
We won a purse bid. We put in a world record purse bid for the fight, having not been able to agree terms. And here it is. This is huge. This is the biggest, the largest purses ever paid to British boxers on UK soil.
Go on, Frank.
Go on.
This time next year, Frank will be millionaires.
Rodney. Anyway, so I'm delighted. I mean, it's great. We're in Wembley. I mean, it don't get no better than this. It's going to be a fantastic night. I think we're going to sell out. It's just under 100,000 capacity. And it's going to be a special night because you've got the lineal champion, the WBC champion, who not been here for 4 years, not fought in the country for 4 years. And we've had, a lot of orders for tickets, and they go on sale tomorrow at noon. Start at 55 quid onwards. But it's going to be phenomenal, and I'm telling you, the atmosphere is going to be brilliant. All we need, it's unfortunate he's not here today, is the other side of the card to show up.
Sadly, no Dillian Whyte. We're all very disappointed about that. What can you say about that now, Frank?
Well, look, we tried it. Look, first of all, I'll bore everybody on to as quickly as I can. WBC put the fight out for negotiations against a mandatory challenger. We couldn't reach agreed terms. We went to purse bids. We won the purse bids. We then had to fulfil certain criteria for the purse bid, which we'd done. Ticked all the boxes. He then signed a contract, which he left right to the last minute before he put in, and now he's trying to renegotiate. Well, that's why we had a period to agree terms. So that's where we got to it, and one of the things was that he wanted a private jet to fly him in and out today, but we said yesterday we'll do that. In writing, we'll do that. Then they started adding other stuff to it. They didn't even want to let us use his photograph on a poster. You cannot use his image rights. I've never heard anything like it in my life. I mean, Brad's been doing this, not as well, but maybe
about as long as
together. I've never experienced. I've never heard of a fighter never showing up for a press conference for a big fight. He's getting. I'm going to just refer to my notes here. He's getting 8 times more than Tyson got to fight Klitschko, an unbeaten fighter, when he went 8 times more. He's getting more than Joshua got paid to fight Martin. He's getting more than Usyk got to fight Joshua. Champions bank on themselves to win. That's what they do to become the king. You win the title, you get the money. The 20% is there. Any good fighters like Usyk did, went and beat Joshua, now he's in the big time. Ruiz done the same thing. Tyson did the same thing.
What percentage was I on when I beat Klitschko? About 1%?
It wouldn't have been like that if you'd have been with me at the time, but that's what it was.
We're not going to go for old ground.
No, we're not going to go.
Frank, thank you very much. We are where we are.
Yeah. But we are where we are. But that's just not right. We are where we are, but Dillian Whyte isn't. He's in Portugal. He should be here. It's disgraceful that he's not here. It's not professional. If somebody else had won a purse bid, we would have helped to make that work. Would have been Tyson or anybody, and he's done it. He goes to the press conference. This is madness.
Thank you, Frank. Congratulations, Tyson, on everything you have achieved, from coming from the other side of the card to being the unquestioned draw, the undisputed #1 at this time. So I mentioned a couple of legendary moments at Wembley Stadium, old and new. So now it's your turn. What does that mean to you to have your opportunity here at Wembley, back home in the UK, after, as Frank says, 4 years?
Yeah, it's been an absolutely roller coaster of a ride. I've been across the Atlantic Ocean in the exotic venues of MGM Grand, T-Mobile, Staples Centre, and I just feel like the song Thin Lizzy, the boys are back in town. 4 years away, and I get to come back and showcase on the world's biggest stage at Wembley Stadium, 100,000 people there. I'm just putting it on so the fans can come, the people who travel to Las Vegas, not everybody was able to come. For the people who stayed up till 5 in the morning to see those fights on BT Sport, so now they can come and they can enjoy an event on home soil and be a part of history. And people will be talking about this event saying, where were you when this happened? In a few years to come, people will be sitting back and thinking, where were you on that night of 23rd of April 2022 when Tyson Fury smashed this fella to pieces in front of the home fans in the UK. And I believe the biggest British heavyweight fight probably since Lewis Bruno, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
There hasn't been a bigger one since. An all-British showdown for the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the world. Fantastic event. And I know Dillian Whyte's going to come in prepared, and he's going to come in rugged and rough and game and aggressive. And he's got a big left hook, a big right hand, and who knows, it could be knee-chinned on night. But I think that both fighters are going for the knockout in this fight, and I just think when I land Lancaster bomber on his jaw, it's going to be over. That could be in round 1, and it could be in round 6. I don't see it going past them, Frank.
No.
But I'm looking upon an excellent night, showcase of knockout boxing for the UK fans, and then sing a load of songs afterwards and have a good time. Party on down in the big smoke.
You've already given us a little insight into what the ring music would be on the night, which is fantastic, incidentally. Good choice. The boys are back in town. You are back in town. There is no Dillian Whyte here today, Tyson. In recent times, we have watched you on these occasions, if I may say, almost winning the first round on these occasions, getting inside the mind of your opponent. Are you disappointed today that you are not having the chance to try to do that against
I'm not concerned, because this is the Tyson Fury Roadshow, and the next stop is London, United Kingdom. It's never about the opponent, like whether it's his face on there or somebody else's. It's really important. It's ugly anyway, it doesn't really matter. Take him down, we should take him down, Frank. This is about this man over here and celebrating his legacy and his boxing career and celebrating it on the biggest stage that the world can get, really. And it doesn't matter if it's Dillian Whyte, doesn't matter if it's Joe Joyce, Derek Chisora, Anthony Joshua, Usyk, it doesn't really matter. Wherever it will stop next, it's always going to be the Tyson Fury Roadshow. And like I said when I was fighting Klitschko, there's only been one man on these shores ever, and he goes by the name of Tyson Fury. I'm the only man on these shores, the only man who can deliver, pull it out every single time when the pressure's on. And even when I'm put down in twice in the 4th round, I will get back up and knock a motherfucker out, because that's what I do. I feel like I needed to stand up and say that, Frank.
That's not a speech for sitting down, you know. You should have got on the table.
Are you not entertained?
Brad, if I could turn to you for a moment, please. There's obvious frustration that Dillian Whyte is not here, but with a global perspective on this fight, would you say to our audience today that Whyte, A, deserves an opportunity, and B, is a very credible threat, as I think Tyson has just intimated?
He's certainly a credible threat. I mean, he's one of the top available contenders. You know, you've got the other guys that are in line, but he's number one. He's here. He's going to be fighting Tyson. He may not be here on the day of the press conference, but he'll be here on the night. It's unprofessional, like Frank alluded to earlier, that he's not here today. But we get past that, we'll move on, and it'll be a historic night.
And in the longer view of all of this is for everybody, really. Is it possible to say that Whyte has been unlucky to have popped up in the era of Anthony Joshua, and particularly the way Tyson Fury has flourished?
I think everyone is second best to Tyson. So in the ring, in personality, entertainer,
In looks.
that goes without saying.
Choice of music.
It will be on the 23rd. You'll find out. It will be. It'll be an unfortunate for him on the 23rd, because everything about this is somebody who he doesn't want the head-to-head. Don't want to be looking. I remember in the 3 fights in the States when we were out there for the 3 top fights with Wilder. The first one, it was all quite jolly, in as much he thought it was going to be okay. And then Tyson got to him. And after that, the next 2 fights, he just didn't want to engage. Remember, with the headphones on, it's like something Tyson, I'm talking like he's not here, but he gets into their heads. And I think Dillian Whyte's worried about that. That's why he's not here.
What about the technical aspects of this fight, Tyson? Your preparation, the sparring partners that you will select. You've mentioned that Whyte has got certain elements to his game that need to be watched very carefully. How are you going to prepare for all that?
Just the same as we prepare for every single fight. We train hard, we eat well, we sleep, eat, train boxing. He's no different to many of the other opponents that I've fought in my career. They're all dangerous, they've all got a puncher's chance, they all want to win, and they know that riches and glory await a victory. So I always put a lot of pressure on myself, and like I say, if I can't look like Muhammad Ali boxing this guy, then I'm in the wrong position and I'm not as good as I think I am. I will chop him to bits, not a problem. I will smash his face right in. You're going to see a boxing masterclass. You're going to see the difference in levels. You're going to see the Ferrari racing the Vauxhall Corsa in a race, and that's the difference. There's levels to this game. I'm not saying Dillian Whyte's not capable of winning a fight because he's won nearly 30 fights, but there's a gulfing difference in class here. This man is a big old strong fella who can swing a big old hard punch in and knock a man's back out if he connects, but if I'm daft enough to get hit off him and knocked out, then I don't deserve to be world heavyweight champion, Frank. I'm going back on a little bit where you said it's unfortunate for him. No, he's getting the biggest payday of his life. I'm not very good at maths, but how many 250 grands can we fit in 8 million? Can anyone tell me that? 32 times his biggest payday. So, unfortunate that. 32 times his biggest payday. He should be here today kissing my feet and washing my feet, because I'm giving him 32 times his biggest payday that he'll ever get in his life. His only payday that he'll ever get in his life. So, I don't know about unfortunate. He's very lucky that he's in my era. He's very lucky to be receiving this amount of money. The man's only thing he's ever won is a British title, Frank.
Correct.
Only thing. And he's been banging on how we're all scared of him. But I've given him a new name anyway. He's called... Are you ready for it?
I'm waiting for this guy.
He's called Dillian Whyte Knickers. Okay? It's not Dillian Whyte, it's Dillian Whyte Knickers, because he's as soft as what it says in the title. He has definitely shown the white flag today. All this social media stuff, I'm not promoting the fight, I'm not getting involved in mind games. Before I was like, you know what, when I say stuff about Dillian Whyte, he always fires back and he gets upset and he causes a bit of a ruckus. Now it's like, say what you want about the guy, call him whatever you want, he's never even he's given me that much more confidence, it's unbelievable. It's like, I call this guy pig to a bull's foot, he doesn't even reply. He's like, terrified. He goes on, he's definitely shown the white flag in my estimation of this fight. He's the way he's going on about it, I don't want to go face to face with Tyson. Of course he don't. Because you see that fire in my eyes and you think I'm getting killed, I'm getting smashed to bits. And that's what it is. It's fear, it's terror, it's all of the above. And I don't blame him for not being here today, Frank. Because if he was here, I'd have probably stretched him at the press conference. So it's a good job he's not here, because I'd be getting remanded in a London jail cell somewhere. But the build-up of this fight, I think it'll be fantastic, because Tyson Fury versus his own shadow sells, for sure. And I will make sure that people are entertained. So if anyone wants to sing, dance off, come down here and we'll do it. There's the offer.
As you well know, as such a student of the game as your father is also, there's a very thin line between being confident, which you obviously have earned the right to be, between confidence and overconfidence. How are you going to guard against that, Tyson?
I'm very confident. Very, very, very overconfident. People say, he's a down-to-earth fella. I'm not a down-to-earth fella. I'm on top of the world fella. It's like all or nothing type of a guy. If I'm training for a fight, then I believe I'm going to win it 1 billion%. There's not even 1% doubt. So I'm not going to annihilate Dillian Whyte, just like there wasn't with Deontay Wilder and everybody else I fought in my career. Even when I've been a heavy underdog, I've never had the doubt of losing. Even when I went to Germany all those years ago and beat Klitschko, I never had the doubt that I was going to lose the fight. And that's my biggest asset, confidence. So at the latter end of my career, long in the tooth as I am, at nearly 34 years old, I would never let that go away from me. I have to be supremely confident in my own ability, which I am. And I believe that I could beat Dillian Whyte with one hand tied behind my back and 1 foot off the floor. That's how confident I am.
Are you viewing this as the start of the grandest period of your career? Because you have spoken at length about your desire and the destiny you feel to become recognised as one of the all-time greats, if not even, judged on the record perhaps, up the road, the best of all. So there's still a long way to go to that. Is this the start of the next stage now that you're back in the UK?
You know, for me, it's just another fight along the old milestone, and I always said I was not interested in what people thought of me, how they rate me among the fighters of the past, whether they rate me at number 1 or number 201. It's really unimportant to me, because when I'm finished with boxing, it's done for me. I don't care what people say, because I've had my 5 minutes of fame in the sun. Probably it's what's going on for now 7 years, Frank, innit? So it's been a long old journey in the sun. I've got a good old tan on me, but when I'm done, and I don't care about where people rate me, where they don't. And like I say, I'm 34 years old, and most of the greats were already finished at this age. So I don't have a long, luxurious career left in me. Or they've been beaten. I've come close a few times, but when I've had to deliver, I always have.
That's why the people have loved your performances.
Yeah, and it's come a long way. It's come a long way. I started off as the brash, overconfident kid, the pretender, who nobody thought could do anything. I was a disaster waiting to happen. And then I've changed it all, and I've become world champion twice, and set records, set precedents, and overcame all the odds. Even though when they were stacked against me, I overcame a lot. And I think the latter end of my career has been so much more tasty than the first half of me. I call it 2 careers I've had. Yeah. The comeback has been so much more fulfilling for me, because I had so much more to overcome, so much more of a bigger journey to climb, and a bigger story to tell. And it's been a fantastic, luxurious, Grand Slam, Hollywood slam dunk of a career, of the second career. It's been amazing, and it's been an absolutely fantastic journey. And Frank Warren and Bob Arum and all the guys, all the team, and everybody who made it possible for me to be here today, and is in this position. So a big thank you to you guys. And I don't think Frank gets enough credit for the massive purse bid he did for this fight, BT Sport and ESPN and Bob Arum. Because like he said, it broke all records of this sport. It's been going a long time. And for me to be the record holder of the highest purse bid in the history of our sport, I think we deserve to give Frank Warren a clap. Go on, Frank. I can give him
that doesn't happen at every press conference, does it, Frank? You picked up the pieces, 4 or 5 years ago now. What are your thoughts about what Tyson has achieved to this point? And moreover, Frank, what are your ambitions for Tyson going forward from here?
You say picked up the pieces. I mean, he picked himself up. You know, he was. I mean, it's well documented. I think he was well and truly at the bottom of you could be. You know, he's in an abyss, and he got himself out of it. He knew that boxing. I felt he knew that boxing would be his saviour. He worked hard. He had to lose a tremendous amount of weight. Was it 10, 11 stone, 140 pounds? Yeah, he had to lose that, and he did it. And you could see that for me there was a spark in his eye. I mean, I was involved. We did a few fights together earlier on, and I remember making a fight with him against Derek Chisora the first time. And Derek Chisora's coming off some good wins, and I felt that Derek Chisora would beat him, but he destroyed him. I mean, absolutely destroyed him. He did a second of a round, and I said to him after the fight, "You'll beat Klitschko." I really felt he would beat. You know, which he did do. But coming back from where he came back from. Forget about the boxing, that's a man to do that. You know, he's got a family that supports him, like a very good family. They're all around him, they're strong people. But you've got to be a strong person yourself to get through and do what he did. And I just think that he's a phenomenal person. There was a few things in the past that obviously, again have been documented. But look what he's done for the inspiration for mental health in this country and worldwide. I mean, we get letters in the office all the time to pass on to him, where he's been an inspiration to people, and it's marvellous. But he's I've been around now, God knows how long in boxing. It's a long, long time. But for me, He's without a doubt the best, and I know we've talked about Lennox Lewis and the guys, but I think he's the best heavyweight in my time, British heavyweight in my time, and he's certainly the best heavyweight of his generation, bar none. And he did what nobody else could do. He went to Germany and beat Klitschko, boxed his head off, absolutely boxed his head off. Went to the States, beat the hardest punching heavyweight statistically. Not once, 3 times. In three different fights. They were all different fights. He boxed him, he fought him, he went out and knocked him over. I mean, all different types of fights. And that's the versatility and the boxing brain that Tyson Fury's got. And for me, and I mean this with the greatest respect, there's no miles on the clock. I mean, he had 1 fight in 2 years. That's all he's had. And you look at his record, the stop-start in his record, he's a phenomenal fighter. You know, it's got to be somebody extra special to beat Tyson Fury. That is if there is somebody extra special to beat him. He's a phenomenal boxer, and he's a phenomenal person to do what he's done and come back from where he was.
Brad, this all looks straightforward in a sense to us because the British public, we know, we sense it all the time, have bought so much into Tyson Fury for reasons in and out of the ring. But for yourself and Bob Arum and the American public, all we see is the week of the fight, those Wilder fight weeks. What is his impact being wider in America, and what does this fight do for the business of Tyson Fury globally?
Certainly, look, we're talking about, this is a Hollywood movie in action as we're speaking. You know, this is an amazing character, fighter, person. You know, I don't need to repeat everything Frank's already mentioned. The American public has taken to Tyson as the primary fighter in our country. They love him. His history, you can see it when they show up to events. You know, coming over back here, I think just adds to that history and tradition. He'll be back to the U.S., so it's just terrific from top to bottom, and we're thrilled to be part of it.
We're going to open it up to the floor in just a moment, but obviously, Tyson, I think it's appropriate that we give you an opportunity to tell everybody one more time, what are you looking to show us in this fight?
Do you want me to say any more? No, I'm looking to show the people and the boxing fraternity how good I really am. And what a better opponent to do it against than a man who's been calling for the fight for
5 years, probably.
300 years.
352 years. He finally gets his shot on the biggest stage against the biggest champion on the biggest night. I will not fail. I'm just going to show you how great I really am. I beat men like him 7 days a week and 62 times on a Sunday. And I'm going to prove that to you come April 23rd.
All right, Tyson, thank you very much indeed. Frank and Brad, thank you very much indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, please just make yourselves known if you'd like to ask a question or two. And thank you, Ralph. Ralph will get the microphone to you. If I could just ask you, please, to identify yourself as you do that. You'll be next, sir, the white jacket. Thank you.
It's Danny Flexen from Seconds Out. Tyson, I interviewed Sugar Hill a couple of weeks ago, and he said he felt that Dillian Whyte was quite similar to Derek Chisora. Yeah. What do you think are the similarities and differences between those two?
I think they're both pretty similar, to be fair. They had 2 good fights together. It was nip and tuck in the first fight. I actually thought Derek nicked the fight by a few rounds. Second fight was going Derek's way as well, and he obviously got chinned in about round 10 or 11. Very, very close competitive fights. So yeah, I think they're very similar in stature and in weight and in style, and I've handled that style plenty before. And I hope you've got your interview camera ready, because I owe you one. Promise is a promise, Danny. We go back a long way.
Next one, thank you.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon. Mr. Fury, the whole world is going to watch this today. What's your message to Dillian Whyte, your personal message to him today?
My personal message to Dillian Whyte today is this. I will win this fight for England and for St. George on St. George's Day. There we go.
Tyson, this is Matt for Into a Boxing. With everything you've achieved in the ring, will perhaps your biggest achievement be what you've done outside of the ring in terms of helping people with mental health and things like that? Because I'm sure you get messages daily with people telling you that you've, you know, saved a life or helped a friend. Will that mean more to you than titles in the ring?
100%. You know, at the beginning of it all, when I was a young kid, the dream was to be world heavyweight champion, and I always thought that was my calling card until I was open with a mental health struggle and all that. It was well documented. To win a boxing match is a fantastic thing for an individual, and it's a fantastic sporting achievement, and it's good to be what you desired to be your whole life, but to save somebody's life from death, that's an even better feeling. Not many people can say, well, I saved that person's life, that person's life, that person's life. But like I say, I get a lot of mail, or I get a lot of messages from people where I help them, their brother, their cousin, or auntie, their mother, anybody. I think that's my biggest achievement in life, is saving people from death, because give them hope that there is help on the other side. And other than that, biggest achievement is wife and family, for sure. And my faith in God. Not forgetting that one.
Rack Noble from Boxing UK. Tyson, where would you rank Dillian Whyte in the top competitors that you fought over the years?
I fought some tasty competitors over the years, and I know Dillian Whyte. We go back a long way. We go back to like 2012. So he's a tough guy. He's a good game fighter, and he'll come. He'll bring what he can, and he will try and chin me. That's the fact. He's definitely up there with like the top 10 fights stuff that I've had before. But he'll all find out on the night, won't it? I could say he could be number 2, number 22, but if he doesn't perform on the night, then he'll never get the credit for it. Or if I demolition him in one round, he'll never get any credit. But if it's a good fight, then he'll definitely get his credit, for sure.
Question for Frank here. Frank, could you confirm what the price is for the pay-per-view for Fury Whyte?
No, it'll be released soon. We're on BT box office and pay-per-view in the US, and obviously those numbers, the prices will be released fairly soon.
Tyson, Charlie Parsons, Fight Stars TV. Thank you for coming down to London. This will be your first time in 4 years in front of the UK fans. Just a message to them how important this is to you. Frank also in landing this fight. And I spoke to Sugar Hill in Vegas, and I speak to Christian Funn, a sparring partner of yours. He tells me you've got potential to go down as an all-time great. Having people around you say that sort of thing, obviously you believe in yourself, but you know, from the best people around you, how important is that?
Very important. You know, for them to believe in me is great. Like I said to this fella before, all that going down in history stuff for me is not what I'm about. I'm about being active and being what I am today. Sugar and the guy over there, sparring partner guy, good guys, you know. They see my talent in the gym. Sugar believes I can beat anybody. That's the belief that we have. We are a very good team. We're a team that believes that we can win at any single time, and we don't believe that nobody can beat us. So to have somebody like that as my trainer is very good as well. And Frank, do you want to answer that question? Well, I think it was your bit of it. What was Frank's bit? Sorry. Landing the fight in London, Frank.
I'm delighted. This is where it should be. You know, Wembley, London, record purse bid, you know, the man, first time back in 4 years. This is what we all want. That's what British fans, everywhere I've been going, when's Tyson fighting back here? When's he fighting back here? Drive me crazy. That's one of the questions you get asked all the time. Well, he's back. 23rd April, St George's Day. Come and see the man. He's back in town.
One more up there, I think. Thank you.
Boxing King Media. Tyson, what kind of weight will you come in for this fight?
I'm going to try and come in at my heaviest weight of all time. For the biggest fight, in the biggest crowd, you're going to see the biggest Tyson Fury. I'm going to come in like a man mountain. What was my biggest weight? Can anyone tell me? I think it was like 19 stone 11, was it? Yep. 19 stone 10. I'm going to come in heavier than 19 stone 10. I'm going to be the heaviest on. And even when I'm put down in twice in the 4th round, I will get back up and knock a motherfucker out. Because that's what I do. I feel like I need to just stand up and say that, Frank.
That's not a speech from sitting down, you know. You should have got on the table.
Are you not entertained?
Brad, if I could turn to you for a moment, please. there's obvious frustration that Dillian Whyte is not here. But with a global perspective on this fight, would you say to our audience today that Whyte, A, deserves an opportunity, and B, is a very credible threat, as I think Tyson has just intimated?
He's certainly a credible threat. I mean, he's one of the top available contenders. You know, you've got the other guys that are in line, but he's number one. He's here. He's going to be fighting Tyson. May not be here on the day of the press conference, but he'll be here on the night. It's unprofessional, like
Best world champion ever. Gareth, Russell Crowe.
Okay, Gareth.
No, that's good.
Tyson, on a more serious note, obviously you talked about Vladimir Klitschko just now, and obviously you've beaten him in the past, but just wanted to get your view on the fact that Vitaly and Vladimir Klitschko and your fellow heavyweight world champion Alexander Usyk going back to their country to enlist and sign up and halt the invasion from Putin at the moment. I just wondered what your thoughts were for those guys that they want to protect their own country.
Fantastic, you know. I'll be the first one to join up if England get involved, or America. I'll be first in line for the job. My dad will as well. And all the boys will all be signing up to defend. So that's what I got to say. I think if you're from that country, living there, defend her. Love your woman and fight for your country. That's what I say.
Get on there.
Everybody should be absolutely pulling for the Ukraine. You know, standing up to the bully, standing up for democracy. That is what everybody should. And those four fighters, 2 ex-fighters, and that everybody should be behind them. It's magnificent what they're doing.
Lomachenko also, Frank.
Yeah.
And finally, just to go back to Dillian Whyte for a moment, could you ever imagine not turning up to go face to face with someone at a press conference to announce a fight of your own?
You know, on this big occasion, it's Dillian Whyte's biggest chance to do his thing. He's been calling for a world title fight for I don't know how many years. He's been saying everyone's been avoiding him, running away and all that sort of stuff. And I thought he would have came here to be a part of big time boxing. You know, he's never been involved in a fight of this magnitude ever, and never likely to be involved in a fight of this magnitude ever again. So I thought he would have come here, sapped up all the experience and took it all in because it was his moment in the sun. But if he doesn't want to get involved in that, then that's his business. But I'm here to be a part of big time boxing, and if Dillian Whyte doesn't want to be a part of this big event, then that's his own problem. People don't remember who the promoter was. People don't remember who managed the fighters of the night. People remember the fight, if it was a good one, and where it was. If you look back at the likes of like Jack Dempsey and Gene Tunney 1, yeah, record crowd selling fights, who here remembers, apart from him, and him maybe, who promoted the fight, or who managed the guys? There we go. So, it's about, we still remember that fight all these years later because it was a good fight and it was a massive crowd. And for him not to be a part of it, I think it messes up his legacy a little bit as well. Because in years to come, they'll say it is a really good fight, which I anticipate it will be. He didn't have any involvement in the build-up, the media, that sort of stuff. He'll be not in any photographs. There'll be no old magazines to look at, that sort of thing. I think it's a shame, not just for him, but for his kids and for his family to look back on in time as well. This is the promoter's argument. This is not the boxer's. This is his promoter telling him, don't get involved in any media. Don't sell the fight. Don't do anything. You can't make any more money. But surely at this level, it's about him as a fighter as well. It's not just about promoting an event. It's about being here, being active and being a part of this. Because at the end of the day, his face is up there. Although he's tried to sue us for not putting it up there, he's still up there and he is a part of this fight, whether he wants to be or not. So he should be here promoting the fight. That's my opinion, and I think it's tough luck for him and his family and his legacy going forward.
And he should be grateful to be involved in it. You know, the fact that we won the purse, because if his promoter put in the highest purse bid, if we hadn't bid, he'd be getting 2 million less. And he's got an upside. He's got an upside of potentially getting an extra 4 million that's lodged with the WBC
If he knocks him out, if he beats
him. So why is he not here? He's getting 2 million more. I don't get it. I really don't get it on any level.
Stranger things have happened at sea, Frank.
They certainly have.
Okay. Is there one more? Just one more at the back, Ralphie? You're going to have to do a bit of road work to get up there, unless you've got to...
Just throw it.
It shows what I know. I thought it was Doc Cairns who promoted Dempsey. Tony won. Outscored again. Thank you, Ralph. This will be the last, folks. Thank you.
For Tyson and Frank as well. Just getting back to the battle for Ukraine, you guys can't go over there and fight like Klitschko's are, but would you back a similar move we're seeing from other sporting bodies where they're preventing Russian athletes and Russian teams from competing?
They've already done that, actually.
They've done it. The WBC, the WBA, all the governing bodies have already come out and said that they won't allow any fights to go on in Russia. They've done that. They would have, in fact, I think they were one of the first sports to do that while FIFA were dragging their heels.
Thank you very much, everybody. We're going to wrap it up with one final comment from each of the guys on the podium here. Brad, to you.
Yeah, just looking forward to a historic night. It's, on behalf of Bob Arum and Todd DeBuff and everyone at Top Rank, we're just thrilled to be involved with Frank and Queensberry and, of course, the man of the hour, Tyson Fury.
Mr. Promoter.
Just be there. This is gonna be a great occasion. The homecoming, seeing the man, the best heavyweight of his generation, seeing him in action. 4 years he's been away, and he's going to put on a show for everybody against an opponent who I know does come to fight. And once he gets in that ring, we know he's going to come to fight. But I just think that Tyson's the man, and just be there on the night and see the man.
Thank you, Frank. Once more, a shame that Dillian Whyte wasn't here, but you very much were. Thank you very much for your attendance. What is your last word?
For England and St. George!
Thank you, Tyson Fury. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming.
Thanks, Paul.
Well done, Dad. Thank you.
Should we do the face-to-face?